Good afternoon, Dr. Spencer. 12 September, my video presentation on my case study analysis on this week's assignment. I reviewed two case studies. The first one really focuses on the hotel industry and the desire for the organization, management and leadership to encourage employees to provide service above and beyond normal expectations, while factoring in human considerations related to motivation and sense of belonging. Case study dated May 2014 by three individuals, Noor, Khalid, and Rashid. And the next case study, conducted by Rodriguez, published in 2008, it takes a look at human factors that present themselves in a stressful environment, specifically a bank merger between a larger bank and a smaller bank. The human factors that Rodriguez evaluated were related to hopes, fears, expectations, and beliefs. Critical issues ranked in each case in order of priority. For the hotel industry study, the critical issue was diversity effects on employee motivation, need to provide services above and beyond normal considerations, so managers being able to understand the human factors and how to better motivate people to do work that's considered above and beyond. And then linkages between human resource diversity management and employee citizenship behavior, so that understanding human factors that can be positively influenced so that employee feels more like a citizen of that organization versus just an employee. In the bank merger study, the issues that were evaluated in this case were really assessed during periods of stress during the merger to understand attrition rates so that the gaining organization can mitigate attrition rates of good people, and the human factors that were evaluated as issues in this case study, feelings of despair or other related behaviors in employees that were fearful of potentially losing their job. Those are the issues that were ranked. In both cases, the studies presented good recommendations or good solutions in their findings. For instance, in the hotel industry study, effective implementation of diverse management techniques or practices, and then the need for training or development of models is a good solution. Also, if managers understand the human factors and what motivates employees to feel more like citizens, in this study identified employees felt that job security, diversity management so that they had proper representation, religion and ethnicity considerations contribute to that employee feeling more like a citizen versus just an employee. Also, the proposed solution, selection of the right managers, will provide for better representation and interaction between employee and managers. Solutions for the bank merger study seem pretty solid. The need to get the word out to the employees to highlight what was actually going to occur during the merger. The thought was that if employees were well informed and could speak their mind, then they would have less fear and anxiety and potentially would be less likely to go find another job. Also, it was determined that organizational leadership and managers must understand and account for those human factors that affect employees' decisions to stay or go, or even to do continued good work. In both cases, both studies are very, very valid. Methodology is good. The theory that is applied is good. The studies factor in both independent and dependent variables well. The recommendations found within the studies. So the concept of human resource diversity management and organizational citizenship is valid. It's a comprehensive approach. Training and overall understanding the factors, human factors that are directly related or presented in a diverse environment is valid. Also, the recommendation about hiring practices is valid in that managers will better represent their employees and have a way to better communicate if they are similar in cultures or background In the bank study, I put valid to the point because in the end, even if management does take into account human factors and present ways to mitigate some of those fears, in the end, people are still going to be worried about losing their job. Proposed recommendations for me in both instances for the hotel study. I think if there's any way to better group employees and managers from like backgrounds, then success may be found, and those human factors may not present themselves in a negative way. Also, I thought that HR departments may benefit from having a trained psychologist on staff, or at the very least as a consultant to review training materials and take a look at the human factors during periods of interaction between employees and managers. For the bank merger study, I think that a more methodical approach to both the acquisition itself and employee engagement could help limit some of those fears and anxiety that may present itself in the individual employee. I think obviously tailored information must address human factors so that that employees are affected really kind of at the cognitive level. Also, if an employee is made to feel that he or she is of a value to the organization, it may allay some of those fears. Key takeaways from these studies and this week: people are important, but also leadership and management must consider human factors to mitigate any negative employee work, and really understanding those human factors and implementing procedures to address them in a good way will solicit the best work out of employees. I also learned that human resources is critical in this process, and that models can be developed to address human factors in the diverse workplace. And then once again, training communication can really help keep both managers and employees working together in a productive way. That concludes my case study. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to our continued interaction. Thank you.